Council, it is past 2 hours, so we will call to order. And if anyone will have a declaration of pecuniary interest, so do it now. Otherwise, we'll move on to 3, which is the approval of the agenda. So I have that the agenda of the special council meeting of June 30th, 2020 be approved as presented. A mover, Councillor Rose and Councillor Sainama, all in favor. Thank you. Now, perhaps for Jane's sake, she's seeing me. Hi, Jane. And so maybe we'll go around and just let Jane know that you're here and who you are. So, Councillor Mayotte, you start, and we'll go that way.
Thank you for saying my name, Councillor Mayotte.
Councillor Santama.
Hi, Jane. George Vademont-Kerr.
Hi, Jane. Anita Duval, Deputy Mayor.
Hi, Jane. Brian Cummings.
Hi, Debbie Levy.
Hi, Jane. To save the best for last, Dan Wells.
Okay, so with that, we will move on to item 4, which is the Chief Administrative Officer Performance Evaluation Process. Now, as we understand, that was approved back in October 23, 2020, but there seems to be some concerns up to the document, the performance and how to do it or what to do with it. One thing I might point out that Stacy did mention that we had before us the document of 2017, which the Deputy Mayor had before us. And we also have another one, which is basically the old style that we used to do, and that was given to me by Councillor Vademont-Kerr. So you have both of those. And so with that, I believe that Councillor Mayotte, that it was your intention to bring this forward because of the situation of the problems with the performance management or the document of how it is to go about. So you have.
Yeah, well, thank you, Worship. No, the only reason I asked for reading is, like I say, it has nothing to do with whoever it is, just the format that we got in here. I don't find it's complete enough. And to me, I don't know, I just wanted to bring up the deal with Calvin. I can't seem to understand. I can't see the answer the way we want the performance that we've got on here. So I don't know if everybody's happy with it. Close meeting, let's go home. Like that to me, it's not. You know, I'm not.
Okay, Councillor Mayotte, I might ask you the question is, you do have the other 2 performance reviews before you. Have you had a chance to look at them?
Well, no, they were just put on a table this evening. I didn't check my email, maybe it was my mistake, but yeah, like I've seen this one here, this one I remember. This one here I find is easier for me to understand, and I can always put
the old style.
The old style, yeah. But there again, even on the old style.
The one we used to use.
Yeah. Like, what are
Councillor Levy, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to comment that I've had a chance to look at the old style one, and I've worked with it many times, and I always quite like this format. And assuming that HR would be sending us the information that we would need to have at hand to do our best.
Yeah. And I think what, even if we go to the old style, what one part of what would be required or will be required and that we will ask for is what the goals were that had to be set, and then you have them in part of this document so that then you can say that they were met, they were not met, or whatever the case may be. So we would add that to this document as well.
Supplementary, Your Worship, not where it says goals and results achieved. I'd like the person in question to, or HR, whoever does that, to provide us with that, his response.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I just wanted to ask George, having been reviewed this way as our CAO, as the CAO, what was your opinion of that person?
I thought it was a very good process. It is an interactive process in the sense that the responsibilities and duties can be filled in by the CAO, and it's right off the job description. And the achievement of previously set goals can be listed, and the results achieved can be filled in as well. And then the rest of it can be filled in by those doing the evaluation. So it's a very thorough process in terms of the form itself. I think that answers your question. I can elaborate further.
No, that's fine. That was my impression, was it worked well.
When I look at this, Councillor Wedemark, you're looking at the first page, for example, and it lists like responsibilities and duties, and it goes on from 1 to 10. And then you have your scoring there. So I would take it that HR would have to include all of these in there, what the responsibilities and duties are. And I imagine you've got up to 1 to 10, and then you have your scoring to the side. So I think that would be part of having this document.
That's correct, Your Worship. HR could fill that in. It comes right off the job description. There may not be 10, maybe 8.
That's
But whatever the main core responsibilities in the job description get transferred on to us.
Exactly. Okay. Councillor Rose.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just making sure we're all working off of this document here.
Right now, yeah.
And if that's the one that we decide we're going to go with, I'm just wondering if it would be prudent on your part to just make a decision tonight with all of us here that this is the one we're going to use. And then we could go through it page by page. There's only 4 pages to go through, and just add in anything that anybody wants to see on there and take it off. And then,
Yeah, and the only thing that would have to be done, we decide that we want this document, we're going to go with this one, then we have to put forward a motion to reconsider.
Okay.
Because we already have a motion that was approved in October.
correct.
So we have to have a motion to reconsider, and that motion has to have a majority.
Well, at this point, then I would make that motion that we switch to whatever we want to call this form, folks.
Well, it's titled up there right now, management supervisory review form. Yeah.
So I would make that we use this form, and then it would be as an amended form.
You'll get all new copies from HR.
Yeah, no, but we'll go through it a little bit tonight.
We're gonna tweet it, so.
Yeah.
We do that, okay, thank you.
But we got to decide if this is the one we're using first, and if we want to change that.
You're still wanting to move that?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Do we have a seconder to it? Councilor Mayotte. And all in favor? So that would carry. Okay, so this is going to be the document that we're going to.
So now we're into just this page. Perfect.
Your Worship, may I ask?
Yes.
I'm just, and this because this is the first time I've been through this process, so please bear with me. Usually, when we're doing this sort of thing, because it is a kind of a group presentation per se, do each of the elected officials declare on their form and when it goes into the, or whether it be the elected official or whether it be an employee or whatever? Because I'm just thinking from a confidentiality or a recapping perspective, because the HR person is supposed to be kind of putting it all together in one form.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So I guess I'm just curious.
If we go to this process, you receive it. Each member of council and it's also going to be going to senior management. That it's done and it's turned into the HR person, and it's held confidential. The HR person, from my understanding, will review it with myself, the deputy mayor, and Councillor Klug, who was appointed to that committee, and then it'll come back to council.
Worship.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, in the past, in the process, Jill, has been a little different. Usually what we've done in the past is all council will fill out our sheets, and then we all meet on an in-camera meeting in the committee room, and generally over the times, we produce one out of everybody's conglomeration of everything, make sure, if you say the same thing as I did, just a little different, Mike does and Brian does, and then we do one concise form. And then it goes to, as the mayor said, with Jess. And
okay, I don't agree with that, Councilor Rose. I don't agree that we be doing a group performance evaluation. It's
One of
everybody
them
on
as individuals, yeah.
individually, but then it's the HR person who will compile it and then get it from there. Councilor or Deputy Mayor, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I don't ever recall that, Councillor LaRose,
Oh.
actually getting together. I think that there's a high degree of confidentiality, and in the past, that has been adhered to. I don't ever recall a breach of confidentiality when in fact those sheets go together. I think we have someone that compiles
That
and
doesn't matter
puts
to
it
me.
all together. And then I think, I can't recall if the committee that is meeting with the individual meets with council first and this is what we come up with, or if we say, this is what we are going to meet and go through. Yeah,
So
I don't like
Councillor
that.
Littlebaum, I'm sure that you have been through a number of these performance reviews. So can you elaborate on the process that you go through?
Yes, so the process I go through has been fairly consistent all the way through 25 years, 10 years here and 15 years in Wasaga Beach, is that I filled in this form. I rate myself. I put it all in terms of my goals, what I achieved, my goals for the coming year. I hand the form in. It gets copied. Members of council meet, they review, they may change where I have marked myself, and they come to a consensus on the score. And then the mayor meets with me afterwards and imparts whatever the discussion was that are relevant to my performance, and
I
that's it.
don't recall that.
We've
Dave.
done
Oh,
that.
yes.
Oh,
Okay?
I was chair of finance in downtown, we did it wow. We did it when George was here.
Yeah, no, I know, we've been through many, but I don't recall actually.
Councillor,
I have two questions, if I may. I do recall at some point that we actually had one HR person who discarded the lowest numbers. Do you recall that?
Discarded, what do you mean?
Well, we used to take the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the rating, and then we take them, multiply them by 9, dump out the first and the last, and then divide the opposite 7 or something, if I remember.
That was it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm pretty sure that was the way the math went on.
Yeah, I think, it's yeah.
now,
I just-
maybe I could ask Jane, what would be the normal process for a performance review of a CAO?
James goes.
Sorry, I was on mute. You can do it either way. You could have it more scientific where you're looking at the numbers, or you can really just come together. You see what the CAO wants, thinks they did, then you get together and decide what you want to say. And that is often a discussion amongst the group that's making that decision, whether it's your whole council or it's a smaller group. And then because they need to get one opinion from the council, I think that's helpful for them to understand this is what's being said to them by the council, as opposed to multiple. So you can do it by developing a numerical rating, or you can do it by having a group, decide on what it is, what the rating is, and talking to them about it. Your process is very good. What I can see, it follows as George has had that same process, and I think lots of CAOs have that similar kind of process.
So that the process then is that the CAO would fill in his own, and all members of the council would be made available of that. And then they would go through it and see that if they agree, disagree, or change it, mark it up.
Right.
Then would it be council then would meet as a whole to digest it?
I think that is helpful so that you can have a common view that you want to present back to the CAO.
Okay, and with all of that, where does HR play a part in this?
The HR sometimes plays a big role. It sounds like your HR has a fairly large role in this, and they compile the information and they bring it forward like as a neutral party. There's other places I've worked where it's a third party that does it. So it just depends how the HR.
So that I can understand that if he is doing a performance and he makes it available to all members of council, they go through it, nitpick it and whatever, and the council meets as a whole to digest it. And then this is all then presented back to HR, who will finalize it.
Well, as an administrator, like we would put together the information. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I mean, that wouldn't be unusual. I certainly have done that before. And I think that's the case here, right? That's the process you have.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Cummings?
Thank you, Your Worship. I think in this case, the way George has described it, or anybody in this room has described it, it's council's role to do the assessment for our CAO.
Of course.
HR would get involved in senior team evaluations so that it's neutral and outside of the CAO's realm. But we're the ones who make the decision on the CAO.
Mm-hmm.
So after we get together, say for instance, our CAO will do the questionnaire, give it a copy to council. We decide on our own things. We get together as a group, come up with a common strategy, and then you as mayor and your committee, the deputy mayor and Jill or Jess would go ahead and present it this year.
What about Carl?
Yes, thank you, Bishop. I think Councillor Cummings has outlined a very good process. I would support that process as outlined by Councillor Cummings.
I really don't have a problem, an issue with it either. Councillor Levy.
Last time I spoke, I had two questions. I only got one in, but my second question was how, I need a reminder how senior staff's comments are weighted against council, or are they just there to help guide us?
No, I think senior staff do an evaluation, the performance evaluation as well.
Yes, I know, but is it, how is it, how much weight is it given? Or is it just there to help educate us further? Perhaps one of the HR experts could.
Jane, do you have a response to that?
I mean, since you're the ones who he works for, then it's really, they should just help you to make that decision by hearing what the senior staff think, understanding, more because they work with him all the time about, how is he doing? How does he work, as well as how successful has he been? So I would, usually you see that the senior staff's opinion is more just to give you a better feel for what's happening.
So where does this all go with confidentiality? I know that if I know some of the senior staff, when they do their performance review, they're expecting it to stay with them or with HR, no further. So how does that work?
Well, wouldn't it be unusual for HR to see that information in some places where they don't feel comfortable? I've seen a third-party group do that work, but often HR is the group that, as a person, it's usually your senior HR person, is taking that very serious information because they're getting their colleagues' information and their boss's information and their boss's boss's information and putting it together. So that's a pretty something that you have to take very seriously, but that's usually a job I have seen HR people do.
Councillor Cummings?
Yes, in the new expectations, the senior team is anonymous. So create comments, start, stop, and continue. And then that's their comments anonymously.
Yeah.
So no one,
And for us, it's
Yeah.
information.
and it's only information for us.
Deputy Mayor.
That's what I wanted to infer, definitely. I think the HR person perhaps would summarize things, but only, not with names of individuals. So it would just be a summarization of the information that was given.
Is that they would, HR person would summarize the senior management.
Our HR person or our third-party person, however it's set up.
They don't summarize, they tell us what each person said without a name attached.
Well, okay.
It might be short.
And for us, it's
Yeah.
only information.
Or the theme of it, yes. But no names.
No, of course.
Great.
Okay, so, do we have anything further? We're going to see then that we're going to be having to prepare the document that's going to be completed by the CAO and received by all members of the council to go through and evaluate. And
Just one, your worship, on the second page, number 4, where it says supervisor's comments, would that be considered council's comments?
well, the thing is that this particular document that we have here was not exactly 100% for performance for CAO. It was for senior management, actually.
Yeah, that's why I just thought we should change it a little bit.
That's why that
So we tweak
supervisor's
that.
comments would disappear.
Or it could be council's comments.
Well,
Yeah.
that's right.
The same as number 7 on the back page too. If we just need to tweak the document a little bit, it's like 99% there, just a couple little,
Where it says
To
supervisor, it says,
change that supervisor's comments.
And the signature would be mayor.
supervisor's, recommendations to council.
yeah, the signature would go to the mayor. Probation trial satisfactory could be,
well, that doesn't count.
eliminated.
The individual's not on probation.
Right, that's, I mean, it could be eliminated. Just tune this document up a little bit and we'd be perfectly off to the races.
So, the document that was presented to us is the way, like, as opposed to the rating scale, improvement or needs expectations, that gets changed to the numbered system.
1 through 5, yeah.
So we're going to forego the camera deal and we're going to forego the lighting. So then, okay, so this one here is that council moves to suspend the rules as per section 10-1 of procedural bylaw 2019-25 and reconsider the decision of October 23, 2020. And finally, that staff be directed to proceed as directed. And that's the motion that you moved.
Correct.
And that Councillor Mayor seconded, right?
Your worship, that should read 2019, not 2020.
Where's that?
It was October 23rd.
No, it's bylaw 2019-25.
Yeah.
You know what the date on it says October the 23rd.
Oh, October 23rd.
2020.
Yes, that's right, it should be 2019.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
That's when you're the murder board.
A lot of be a fortune teller.
Your worship, do you have, are you marking up a copy with our changing it from supervisor?
Yes,
comments and
I'll
stuff?
be going through that with
And you're
HR.
just gonna get, HR to do that, or?
I'm sure
Oh,
it's
yeah,
hard
of
to
course.
display appropriately.
Yeah, no, just making sure we're on.
No, I have noted it, that we don't have, HR go through it. Perfect. And have it brought back, so if there's nothing further. Meeting is adjourned.